Hey guys, this is Joe from Analog Archive back with another video. Today's video is going to be my vinyl finds for the month of August. I've been picked up a pretty large stack, especially very similar to what I had done last month. A lot of these came from Rochester. People that have watched my video for a while know, again, like I mentioned actually in my last video, that Rochester is usually the place that I go to find a lot of records. Great shops, Bob Shop, Record Archive. There's a record in here that I found from Hi-Fi Lounge, another great small store. Shirt I'm wearing today is Revolver Records in Buffalo. I've mentioned that picked up a few records from them a few months ago. Great chain of, I think there's 3 stores now in Buffalo. So if you're ever in Western New York, again, short drive from Niagara Falls, about 20 minutes to Buffalo. So great place to check out before I get started with the finds. If you notice, kind of watched my videos in the past as well, you've noticed some artwork in the back, and I finally have hung up the Grant Green mosaic image that I had gotten actually at Christmas time, and got it framed and finally got it up. So another thing to add to the record room, but we will get started because again, I got a big stack. Make sure you watch throughout. Good mix of stuff, some real solid heat, and then especially at the end, you are not going to want to miss the records at the end. Some great, I'll give you a hint, some great Coltrane records. So stay tuned for the whole video, but we'll get started because we got a lot to show. First one is Zap 2. Probably a few months ago, like around June, I picked up the first record by this group, Zap. I started in like 1980, led by Roger Troutman, who was somebody that employed the voice box as kind of a additional instrument on a lot of these like late 70s funk disco type sessions. This one just picks up right where the first one left off. A great funk type like disco record, and a great one if you ever see it. These are not usually super expensive. This one's super clean. This one was actually still in the shrink. It was a Discogs find. So there's another one I found online. This is Parliament, Motor Booty Affair. Late 70s, Parliament, 1978 on Casablanca. Not a whole lot to say. You've got George Clinton, and just a lot of great musicians that are part of this Parliament Funkadelic set of groups. This is a great one. I really enjoyed this one. So great one if you ever see that. Always very elaborate and somewhat crazy artwork to those records as well. Next one is Neil Larson, Jungle Fever. I think I saw this, like Ken McAuliffe mentioned this maybe a month or so ago. Just a jazz funk record from like the late 70s. They had 1978 on A&M, Horizon, like A&M. Neil Larson is a like piano synthesizer, or I should really say electric. It's really just electric piano player. Great groove to it. Him and Buzz Feiten on the guitar. Great partnership between them. They work together on a few records. So this is a great one. Very cheap. This one was like $5. So a great one if you ever see it. Neil Larson. The next one is the one that I actually got from the Hi-Fi Lounge when I was there visiting my family a few weeks ago. This is Paul Gonsalves, Cleopatra Feelin' Jazzy. I've heard of Paul Gonsalves, great tenor saxophone player in late 50s into the 60s. He's got a great record on, I think, Argo, along with, I think he might have one on like, I don't know if it's Riverside or something like that, but what really caught my eye, it's got a great lineup. It's got him, it's got Hank Jones on piano, but it was the fact that it had Kenny Burrell on the guitar. So this is mid 60s on Impulse Fortunately, this is an original. This is a green label 70s pressing, but a great one. Again, another cheap one. This was $10. And if you ever see it, a great 60s impulse one, kind of inspired by some Egyptian type, or it has kind of an Egyptian theme, even though that's not really the feel of the record too much. So great one if you do see that. Keep going. Next two, same artist. This is Rough House, John Schofield Quartet. This is on Inner City from 1979. Anything you see on Inner City is really worth picking up. Have had really great luck with not only just the sounds of these records, the tunes, but also the fidelity. These are great sounding records, and again, cheap. So this is Rough House, John Schofield, great guitar player in the 70s and then into the 80s as well. Heard a few people talk about him. I was aware of him, but I didn't really know any of his music, and so that was one. And then this is, I think, his first record, at least on Inner City. I think this is like 1978. I think both of these may have been originally released in Japan on a different label, and then these are the US versions. So this is John Schofield Live, and just a great sounding kind of hard bop 70s guitar-led quartet, and a great one as well. Always love live jazz, so was excited to pick that up. Those are both finds from the basement at the Bop Shop. Great place to find some cheap stuff. Next one, this was also from the basement. This is Philip Catherine Nayram. This is a compilation of two of his records that came out in France in like the early to mid 70s. Yeah, it says September Man and Guitars. Philip Catherine, great French guitar player. Mostly, really all of his albums were just exclusively released in France, and this was a chance for people in the US to get a chance to hear some of his music. Once again, another guitar-led jazz session. Some great tunes on here. Trying to pick out some ones that I especially liked. I mean, the title track, Nayram, that's a great one. Homecomings is another great one as well. We'll Find a Way. So a great one. Excited to check this one out more. Great, kind of interesting artwork to it. So this is another cheap one. Keep going. This is So Soon We Change, David Ruffin. David Ruffin was the lead singer of the Temptations in the 60s. Yeah, this is a great one though. Soul feeling, but also has like a funky feel to it. A great one. I was very impressed with the first listen of this. Another cheap one. I was very excited to grab that. Keep going. These I'll talk a little bit more about later, but this came in a collection along with some other stuff that I'll show at the end. About at the beginning of August. So this is Stone Alliance. This is their first album. It's a trio with Gene Perla on bass and piano, Don Alias, drums, conga, bongos, and bell, and then Steve Grossman on the tenor sax. I really love Steve Grossman. This one, along with the next one, are two of the big wants that I've had when it comes to Steve Grossman albums, so was very excited to see this in the bins. This is on the PM Records label that was started in like the early to mid 70s by Gene Perla, and he features on, I mean, of all the PM record albums that I have, he features on all of them. I'm not sure if it's 100% across the board, but all the ones, again, that I have him on it. So this one is a great one. I actually was very impressed with that. This is Terra Firma. This is just Steve Grossman. Again, PM Records. Let's see if it has the lineup. Yep, Steve Grossman, tenor sax. Jan Hammer on electric piano, and Moog synthesizer. Gene Perla on bass, and Don Alias on percussion. So in this case, you're just adding Jan Hammer on the piano and the synthesizer compared to the Stone Alliance, but similar feel, around the same time as well, 75, 76. Very excited about this one, again, along with the last one in terms of picking up more Steve Grossman. This one I actually just grabbed today at a antique place. James Brown, The Payback. This is obviously a classic James Brown, just classic soul funk type album on Polydor. This was a great price. Does need to be cleaned, and we'll see how it plays after it gets cleaned up. But don't really see a whole lot of stuff like this around where I live, so was very excited to grab that. So that's The Payback, James Brown. Now getting into some bigger ones, the last handful. First one is the Riot. I think it's A Riot Goes... Oh, yeah, there's a riot going on. Sly and the Family Stone. Great American flag cover to it. Found this at Record Archive, real cheap. I think it was $10. Looks really nice. Saw Dylan Noble Records show this in a video a while ago. He always said, if you see it, definitely worth picking up. Great funk record from the early 70s, very seminal funk record. So very excited to see that for a great price. Rest of them are some pretty heavy ones, starting with Natural Soul, Lou Donaldson. I've seen this one in the past, and for those, again, I've mentioned this already a few times in this video, but those that have watched past videos know that I'm not a big fan of the organ, but I gave this one a listen more recently and found that the level of organ, even though it is prominent on most of the tracks, is actually somewhat subdued, and it's actually just a really phenomenal album overall. So you got Tommy Turrentine on trumpet, Lou Donaldson on alto sax, Grant Green guitar, John Patton organ, Ben Dixon on the drums. This is from like 1960, probably recorded in 62, came out in like 63. Continuing to find more Grant Green stuff. I love Tommy Turrentine. He unfortunately did not really get to record as much as he should have. I think he's the younger brother of Stanley Turrentine, and he might be the older brother, I can't remember, but definitely brother of Stanley Turrentine, and a phenomenal trumpet player. So that was another great one, great reason why I picked it up. This one I've been looking for a while. This is First Music Inc., Charles Tolliver led group. You've got him on trumpet, Stanley Cowell on the piano, Jimmy Hops on the drums, and Cecil McBee on the bass. This has a very somewhat unique sound, but it was very enjoyable. It's got a big band environment to it, but they really just lay the foundation very well to allow the soloists, especially Charles Tolliver and Stanley Cowell, to solo. Just a great one. It again, the big band really supplements each of the tracks. They don't really, I don't feel like they get in the way too much. It's just, again, there is just an accompaniment type thing. But a great one if you ever do see it. This may be part of the Pure Pleasures series. I'm not sure if I think they have done this one, but if not, I bet this is one that they will do in the future, the UK reissue label for a lot of these Strata Easts. But this is an original, and was very excited to grab that from the Bob Shop. There, let's see. Next one, just got this one in the mail actually yesterday. This is Grant Green Visions. Promo copy in terms of the stamp on the front. Doesn't say anything on the labels. I'm not even sure how many promo copies I've seen for Blue Note, at least from the 70s. This is also, this has got a slightly different, actually, this has got a pretty different lineup compared to past Grant Green records. This is from 1971. So he's in the kind of funky vein at this point, but you've got obviously Grant Green guitar, Idris Muhammad on the drums, Ray Armando on conga, Billy Wooten on the vibes, Chuck Rainey on the bass, Emmanuel Riggins on the piano. So really, it's just Grant Green as the kind of the leading musician, and just a great one overall. Haven't had a chance to listen to those one full, but very excited. As of right now, I have all of Grant Green's 1970s releases. So I just got to work on the 60s stuff now. So very excited to complete that with Visions. This is a tough one to find, but worth picking up if you do ever see it. Just like any Grant Green. Can't go wrong with any Grant Green stuff. So the last three all have one thing in common. Huge Grail records. Very excited to have all of these. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, wait till the end. Well, this is the end for the Coltrane records. So first one is John Coltrane Ballads. This is an original mono on the ABC, actually sorry, on Ampar label. You don't see a whole lot. I mean, I don't really think many people show the labels off too much, but this is a label that was present for the first few years. It's tough to read. I don't even know if you can see that on the thing, but the white text at the bottom, a product of Ampar Record Corp. This one to the side. Can't get that one in. Some of those impulse covers are tough to get the records back into. So next one, John Coltrane Quartet Plays. This is the record A85, the record after A Love Supreme. Getting a little more out there. He plays the soprano on one of the tracks, and then the remaining three he plays the tenor sax. So the Mary Poppins theme, Chim Chimery, he features on soprano, and then the remaining three he is on the tenor. So some people like to look at the gatefolds, so you get kind of an idea of that. Always very nice presentations of those. Very excited to have this one. You do see this one from time to time. This is an original stereo, but nonetheless, a great session. Absolutely love this one when I heard it. Again, slight sound similarity to Love Supreme, still spiritual. Start to hear a little bit more of the out there, but definitely not out there. I think this one is still somewhat accessible for those that like Love Supreme and some of the stuff that's around that. Crescent, Live at Birdland, the first one, obviously not Live at Birdland again. That's a whole different beast, but great one as well. John Coltrane Quartet Plays. And finally, the big one, tough to top this one for the year. Very excited to have this, and that is John Coltrane, A Love Supreme mono. This is technically a second mono for those jazz purists that love to brag about the no prefix after the A77 on the labels. Those that are not familiar with that, the original pressing was just A-77 on the label in terms of that's what the catalog number was. But this was around the time that they started putting a hyphen after the number in the catalog number and then having the side kind of A or B. So this one is A77 and then it has the dash A. Very difficult to find one that does not have the A. No idea how many have been pressed. Again, this was like a transitional time for the addition of the A and the B on the labels, and so could have been that only the first run had them. I'm still considering this to be an original because honestly, I think I've only seen one person that has an A77, no no A. So phenomenal one. Don't need to say anything about Love Supreme, but just so happy to have this in the collection. Thank you to Tom at the Bob Shop. This came in along with the other 2 Coltranes, along with also the Steve Grossman, Terra Firma, and the Stone Alliance. Those are all from the same collection. And actually, so is the Music Inc. Charles Tolliver. But very blessed to have this. Finally have the mono. So very happy to have that Love Supreme. So that will end the records for August. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please put in the comments what you enjoyed. Have another video coming soon that has to do with Impulse. So something to look out for in the future. Thank you for all the support, all the comments on my videos. If you have not already, please think about liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next final video. Bye.